Hi, this is Ray Hrdlicka again with BidMyBail. Again, we're sitting in Crime Justice in America studios to talk to you about the bail bond process. Today, we're going to talk about real estate equity as collateral on large bonds. And in California, there are some in fact in any state realistically, there are some very large bonds that are bond amounts that are being applied to some charges that in the past were much less. Okay, you know, for example, OJ trial. Before OJ's trial, domestic violence, and domestic violence is literally and domestic violence is a horrible, horrible crime. But domestic violence is actually defined as any touching whatsoever, you know, in an assault situation, battery situation. So before OJ, it was about $10,000 in Los Angeles County. In Los Angeles County after OJ, it was $50,000. Now, it could be $100,000, $250,000. So on bonds like that, you're going to need to talk about finding some real estate collateral to satisfy the bondsman's requirements. If you've got a large bond, it's probably going to be required to have a real estate equity somewhere. It doesn't have to be in the state that you have the bond, you know, where the person's being held in custody. Doesn't have to necessarily be in that state. It's helpful, it'll be easier, but it can be out of state. Now, the person who owns the property obviously is going to be putting up that equity, and equity is the difference between what they owe and the value of the property. So in this particular case, well, let's go back to several blogs ago, I used a $10,000 example. Let's put a zero at the end of it, $100,000. Now we have a $100,000 bond. Okay, somebody's going to need real estate collateral for it. So if you own a property that's $150,000 value and you only owe $50,000 on it, well, now you have $100,000 equity in the property. Are you going to be able to get out? Probably in today's economy, because it's pretty competitive with bondsmen. They'll probably take that as collateral. If you have a $150,000 property and you owe $150,000 on it, meaning maybe the value of the property dropped, you put very little down on it, it's not going to be worth very much as collateral towards that bond. So you need to be able to have some equity on that. And you also need to be able to have some proof that there's some equity in there. Now, if bondsmen are very sophisticated these days, they can run equity on property fairly simple themselves from their office. My point is that, one, you want to tell them the truth, always, because they're going to find out about it. And when they do, they can put that person back in custody. All right, number two, that you want to go in with your best foot forward so you can get a person out of jail as fast as possible. Okay? So you want to be able to find that piece of property that somebody's owned for a while. Now, relative, in-state, out-of-state, long-lost cousin, you know, mother, father. The point is, on larger bonds, real estate is going to be required, and you should probably contact those people ahead of time before calling the bondsman. Because if you have all your ducks in a row and you're ready to go, that person's going to be able to get out of jail that much quicker. Now, here's the thing. If you don't have, if you don't have enough real estate equity, let's use that example again, $150,000 value on the property and you owe $100,000 on it. Will some bondsmen take that? Maybe not the first few you call, which is the reason, of course, you use BidMyBail, because then bondsmen can look at that and say, oh, we got X amount of real estate equity, and yes, we'll take that. Some bondsmen will say no, some bondsmen will say yes. That's where it comes down to saving you the time with BidMyBail to be able to say, this is what I got. Will you take it? They want this. Here's the bid, you know, the counter bid back. Oh yeah, I can do that. I can come up with another cosigner in addition to the real estate collateral. So this is what you need to think about before you start looking to get somebody out of jail. Doesn't take that much time, all right? But if you have those ducks in a row, it's going to be that much easier. This is Ray Hrdlicka. Talk to you again.